if
Are you checking to see if it's coming through, Graham?
yeah, we'll do.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's
Elaine,
come up.
Are you going to
Elaine.
cope with me, please?
Yeah,
A minute. What's come up?
it's come up. It's now
Oh,
streaming.
now streaming. But there was 3 accounts.
Yeah. It's there.
You want me to do something, Becky? Are you asking me?
Yeah, can you co-host me?
Everyone's talking. I can't hear. Yeah. Right. Sorry, what do you want me to do, Becky?
Co-host you. Co-host me. You must have a delay again.
Oh, not again.
Probably. You're fine.
Evening, Jenny.
So what did I do last time? I did something, didn't I? I turned off something.
It seems all right again now. I think.
I turned something off.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It seems to be okay. So, okay, I'll view the waiting room.
No, it isn't. I said that about 5 minutes ago.
Hello,
I don't think so.
Graham. Nice to see you again.
And you, good evening.
Right, I am going to be really rude in a second and switch everybody onto mute all. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. I
We
will do that.
perfectly understand.
Okay, I shall do that now. Okay. We're just waiting for people to come in from the meeting waiting room. As is standard practice, people are muted. Elaine, you will need to unmute yourself in a second because I have muted you as well. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, perfect.
Did you say perfect to me, Becky?
Yes, I did.
Good.
Everybody else
Okay.
is muted, so it's definitely you I'm talking to.
Well, I wasn't sure if you were talking to me from 5 minutes back, you see.
No.
No, that's delayed again.
No, it's not. I don't think it is.
I do. Help me.
It doesn't appear to be delayed, Elaine. So I'm just going to admit the last few people in from the waiting room and then we will make a start. Okay, there's still a few more coming in.
It has been solved.
Okay, good. Yeah, we can.
You weren't. You were talking to me from 10 minutes ago.
Oh, sorry. Okay, you're there anyhow.
I'm here now.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Hold on. There's still people in the waiting room.
Yeah. So Ben is just saying that he's keeping his camera off because his internet's a bit funky.
That's fine, Ben. Thank you. We'll just wait for the last couple of people to come in, and then I will make a start. How many?
Can you see the waiting room, Becky? Because I can't see anyone in it.
Is there anybody else we're waiting for, Elaine?
Let me see. Dave's not here yet, is he?
No.
Can't see Dave. Oh, there's Willow. Willow's coming in. Frank's here. Charlie. I think we're all.
It's just
Willow. Where's Willow got? Willow's there, yeah.
Willow's here.
Ben.
We're just waiting for Councillor Sharman.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll make a start, and then if Councillor Sharman comes in, Elaine, we'll just keep him in the waiting room till the first bit's over, and then we'll
yeah
in after that.
Yeah.
before you start, I think my agenda has just dropped off. It was there a second ago. Would anybody be able to ping it to me? Would that be all right?
Okay, yeah, we'll get that sorted, Joe.
Thank you, brilliant.
Okay, I'm just going to mute everybody. Okay, lovely. Okay, so Thank you, and welcome to this evening's full council meeting. In light of the recent sad events, all of us at Downham Market Town Council were saddened to hear the news of the death of His Royal Highness the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, on Friday. We remember with gratitude his dedication to this country and the legacy he will leave behind. Our thoughts and deepest sympathies are with Her Majesty the Queen and the rest of the royal family at this extremely sad time. I would therefore ask you to join me in a 2-minute silence, and for those of you who are able to stand, please do so. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Elaine, do we have any members' apologies for absence this evening, please?
Yeah, so we have councillors Shimit Patel and Andy Bullen. And we also have another list somewhere. Have you got the list of the first one?
I've got Councillor Pickering.
Yeah, Pickering, obviously for family reasons.
Yep, and
that, I think that we're full apart from that one.
And we haven't got Councillor Sharman yet.
No, I think he's probably just struggling to come in. I don't know if John wants to phone him.
Okay. So
I think he probably is phoning him.
Are we happy to accept those apologies? Okay, yeah. I'll just have a show of hands, please. Lovely. Yeah, that's everybody. Thank you. Who's there? Thanks, Ben. Lovely. Thank you very much. To receive members' declarations of interest, and we have the standing one from Councillor Hepworth, and I have a declaration of interest in agenda item 18.3. Councillor Damon. Oh, you're on mute. You'll have to unmute yourself. I should imagine it'll be bills or something. Yeah, bills. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Payment of bills. Yeah, perfect.
Payment of bills, 10-1.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So if there's no other declarations of interest, I'll move on to agenda item 3, Mayor's announcements. So firstly, I'd like to introduce Graham, who has recently joined the Town Council staff team, and we're all looking forward to working with him. Graham, if you want to give yourself a bit of a wave so people know who you are, that's Graham. So welcome.
Good evening. Thank you.
Secondly, on Mayor's announcements this evening, the vaccination centre, as you know, has opened in the Town Hall. currently at 3 days a week, and apparently it's all going very well. And for those people who are eligible, you can book appointments via the NHS website for the town hall. So I'd encourage everybody to do that. And kind of related to that, we had a lovely email from a non-Downham Market resident who came to the town for a vaccination. And I was just going to read out part of the email. They'd travelled to Downham Market on Easter Monday, and it was the first time that they'd been to our delightful market town. And what a wonderful welcome awaited us, with all of your beautiful flowers, which in itself made it worthwhile travelling. We shall never forget the beautiful display and wanted to let you know how much we appreciated the warm, colourful welcome. We'll come up in the summer, especially to see the summer flowers. Please pass on our thanks to the departments involved and all those who contributed to make us so welcome. With sincere thanks, Bob and Karen Hill. So I thought it was really nice. Thirdly, this evening, Francis Rayner will be outside of the town hall on April the 30th and the 1st of May between the hours of 8 and 12, and she is doing a spin bike challenge, 12-hour spin bike challenge over 2 days, raising money for the No Child Goes Hungry scheme. Francis will be coming to the annual town meeting next week to tell us more about the great work that that scheme is doing. So hopefully people will be able to attend to listen to Francis and support her on the outside of the town hall. And finally, under Mayor's announcements, I will be attending the church service at Kingsland Minster on Friday to commemorate the life of the late Royal Highness Prince Philip and to represent the town in that service. So that's all from me in terms of Mayor's announcements. Okay. Moving on to agenda item number 4, to approve the minutes of the full council meeting 2nd of March 2021. I don't think these have been circulated. They are on the website, but I don't believe they've been circulated. So we will be deferring that item to next month's agenda to have, so people have time to read those.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor, Madam Mayor. Can you send the link over to Dave because he hasn't got it?
Okay, yep, I'll get Elaine to do that. Thanks.
Elaine to do that. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Just ask them to send it over there.
Yeah, brilliant. I'll just mute you, Dave. John, sorry.
Willow, could I just ask you to do it? Because I'm going to have to go out of my screen to get it. Do you mind? Where is Willow? Can you do it quickly, Willow?
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, sorry. It just makes it easier, otherwise I'll go and disappear. Thank you.
That's fine. Matters arising, just a feedback from the matters arising from one of the previous minutes was we asked the clerk to do some work on the Discover Downham, and we've had an email back from them saying they're very happy with all the work that Elaine has done and all the matters have been resolved, and they are hoping for a June reopening, which is very good. So I don't think there's any other matters arising. So, okay. So now we will adjourn the meeting for public participation and consideration of written reports and written questions. I think we've got County Councillor Tony White.
Yeah.
Here, he was here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Tony, did you have anything that you wanted to say?
Yeah, just on the minutes, I didn't get mine recorded. Give my apologies last time. I did speak to Elaine about it, but that isn't on this Times.
Okay, so we'll have
on my thing. I'm not going to say anything as I'm, standing for county. I'm standing on the Purda, so I'll follow your meeting, and I'll join. Maybe join you next time, but. That's why I'm using my perdits, so yeah. I hope everybody else do the same.
Yep, we appreciate that, Tony. I think part of the issue is because nobody mans the emails after 5 o'clock. If your apologies come in after 5, we don't pick them up in readiness for this evening's kind of meeting. So that's probably why they didn't appear on the agenda whilst it was typed
No,
out.
but I did speak to Elaine. Elaine spoke to me about it last time, so that should have been done this time.
Yeah, we haven't got the minutes for this time, so we'll make sure that that's on the minutes when we get the minutes sent out and put them on for next month. If that's okay.
Yeah, but if there's anything, you know, you think I need through the county council wise, you know, you can put it on an email for, you know, for tomorrow.
Of course we will. Thank you, Tony, for
Okay.
that.
Right, have a nice one.
Thank you. Borough Council reports and questions. The report from Councillor Ratcliffe and Councillor Bullen was circulated to everybody. So does anybody have any questions in relation to that report? And we'll go to Councillor Ratcliffe because she's here. Councillor Bullen has obviously sent his apologies. Councillor Pyatt, you need to unmute yourself.
For Councillor Radcliffe, Howdale sign is up. At last, it's only taken 6 months, ain't too bad.
Thank you. That's good to know. I can't claim any credit for that. But,
No, it's my wife. She did the work mostly, I think. Push and pull.
Good for her.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
And the other one is Councillor Bullen. Can we encourage him with the speed watch and also his other job about the outside fitness thing? Can we encourage him as a council to provide this outside fitness area and also carry on with the speed watch? And I give him my full support. I hope the council does.
Yeah, I think we were all very keen on certainly on the speed watch, Councillor Pyatt, and I think the problem was with kind of COVID and everything, it had to be put on hold. So I think now we are kind of pushing, or he's hoping to push forward that, which is really, really good. I'll just let in Councillor Sharman, who I believe is joining us. Any other questions for Councillor Radcliffe? Nope, I don't think they are. So thank you for that, Councillor Radcliffe. That was a really informative report as always. And was there any questions other than Charlie's for Councillor Bullen that we can kind of email to him in his absence at all? Okay. Yep. Jackie, Councillor Westrop.
Yes, just to actually remind Councillor Bullen that I'm still waiting for the information around flooding.
Yep.
So to actually go in so that we can actually complete the sort of neighbourhood plan, basically.
Yeah, we will chase that up with him, Councillor Westrop. Thank you. Okay, perfect. So if there's no other questions for the borough councillors, I'll move on to public participation. There have been no questions submitted by members of the public this evening. So with that, I will move on to agenda item number 6 to discuss the annual town meeting on the 20th of April 2021. An email agenda has been sent out, and we would really encourage all members of the electorate of Downham Market to attend. The more the merrier. We have asked on the email if they could submit questions on the agenda, if they could submit questions in writing prior to the meeting. That's just because it will help us to formulate full responses to their questions, but also helps me in terms of chairing the event. But we will of course take questions on the evening, and the part of the agenda allows for that, which is under electorate participation. So it's not just for questions, it's for members of the public to kind of give updates on any information that they think is useful or will be beneficial to the town. Also under that annual town meeting, we have got some presenters who are coming in to talk about some of the good work that's happening within the town. So we will be having a couple of presentations next Tuesday as well. So hopefully we'll have lots of attendees. So I'll open that to questions from any councillors or anything like that on that agenda item. Yep, Councillor Pyatt.
I'm just going to say the last night I watched Penzance do their annual town meeting, and ours is on the very similar format. Oh. It's the same. They gave the people who wanted to ask questions personally, they came into the room, and the ones who sent in messages, the clerk or the mayor read them out to them. And I must say, for a young mayor, she was very, very good. Honestly, she controlled the meeting brilliant. And if we can do that on our night, it'll be great.
Yeah, well, hopefully the only difference is everybody will be able to come into the room, which is slightly more challenging for me to see multiple screens. That's part of the reason for asking for the questions in advance. But people, I will either read them out, or people will be given the opportunity if they wish to ask them and read them out themselves. That's absolutely fine. But it's good to hear that other people are doing it the same way as us. Thank you. Any other comments on that agenda item? No. Brilliant, thank you. Agenda item 7, to discuss the election of mayor. We are going to do it the same, or the suggestion would be to do it the same way as we've done it in previous years, which is for all nominations to be submitted with the statement from the mayoral candidate, the proposer and the seconder. And we'd like those to be sent in to Elaine by the 27th of April. And then those nominations will be shared with councillors ready to vote for mayor at the mayor making meeting. And that goes the same for deputy mayor, obviously. So then like that, we know each kind of candidate for mayor has got a proposer and a seconder, and has given a bit of a statement about why they think that they would be the right candidate for mayor going forward. So any questions, comments, thoughts about that? Stunned you all into silence. Okay, if there's no comments or questions, look forward to the applications coming in by the 27th of April, and just send them directly to Elaine, and then she can make sure that they're all collated and sent out.
Can I ask a question?
Of course you can, Frank.
What time on the 27th of April, please?
By close of the office.
5 o'clock. Yeah.
5 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I should have made that clear. Thank you for pointing that out, Frank.
I think you've got Jackie as well, Becky.
Oh, Jackie, sorry.
No, she's changed her mind.
Okay, I'm just trying to keep an eye on all my screens and my notes at the same time. So I've done that one. Okay. Agenda item 8, to receive an update on the market. Joe, I believe that's your agenda item. You'll need to unmute yourself. I'm not touching the mute.
There we go. It's the first time I've done that. Yeah, it's going to be quite an exciting weekend this weekend. There's been a lot of hard work going into setting things up. As we know, we have all the non-essential stall holders that wish to come back coming back. So on the Saturday, we're going to have double the amount of stalls that we have all got used to. There'll be a significant increase as well on the Friday. More stalls rejoining over the next few weeks. Potential stall holders are continuing to contact our clerk, so the market will carry on growing. So in preparation for that, I hope everybody's noticed we've put some banners up around the town, some fairly large ones. You might have spotted them, I imagine. So everybody is familiar with the happenings this weekend are coming. I think I've had quite a few people stopping me and telling me about them as well. There are still COVID related rules in place, obviously. So we will have a staff presence on the market to support those, as well as to monitor the situation. But weather permitting, obviously, we're expecting a very busy and happy market this weekend. Lastly, got to mention, we received news today, or at least it was news to me today, that Birdhouse Brewery entered the CAMRA Awards for the first time this year, and they won a first prize for their mild and third prize overall. He's very excited, understandably. He'll be back on the market this Saturday, so you can go along and congratulate him, excuse that, and sample his wares. That should be good. But yes, all good, all exciting, and we'll be closely monitoring the situation.
Yep, I've got a point I wanted to add, but I saw Frank had his.
No, it's all right. I'll wait and see what happens at the weekend.
Okay, fine. Just kind of picking up on Joe's point, we did have another trader meeting last month. We're in April now. It was the end of March, and it was a really productive meeting. And we had a discussion about the email that was sent around by Councillor Lawson around the fact that one of the traders' meetings was in fact recorded by somebody at that meeting, and that recording had been passed over to Councillor Lawson. All of the traders were quite horrified by that, those who attended that meeting, and didn't have any knowledge of that recording at all. And they were quite concerned because obviously it is a confidential business meeting between the council and themselves, and they kind of felt that their trust had been broken, both between the council and themselves and between the traders, if one trader had done it. But everybody at that meeting didn't have a clue that had taken place. So they asked me to kind of raise it this evening and just kind of speak to Councillor Lawson, ask Councillor Lawson if he had anything he wanted to obviously comment on that, because obviously, it could be kind of construed by people that there was an attempt to kind of try to kind of damage the relationships between the traders and the council, where we're putting really hard work into managing that relationship and grow the trade and the market going forward. So I just wondered if there was anything that you'd like to add to that, Councillor Lawson. You have to unmute yourself if you wish to.
No comment.
Okay, so I will leave it for councillors to make up their own mind on that issue then. Okay, any other comments or questions about the market? Just the thing, I was just going to report that didn't we have some of the A boards that we had done, the contents were sadly stolen, so we did have some really nice A frames made up with nice paper.
They came back, Becky, they came back 2 days later. They just appeared back. It was the signs off, but the A boards have been a great success, and the traders were really thought they were good. They did look good. I don't know if anyone's seen them, but they.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear they're back again.
They arrived back at the side of the van or something. It was a bit odd, but they're there, so we're only too grateful.
Brilliant, that's great. Thank you very much.
I want to just mention about trading times. Just we have had some issues with trading times.
Oh,
obviously.
Yes. There was some stuff on social media around the trading times. The trading times were set in the license and agreed in the license in conjunction with the traders. So the traders were the ones who agreed with us those times, and it was a collective view around the times that were suitable for the majority of the traders. So, it's understandable where there may be some traders who don't agree with those times, but that was a collective joint decision along with us as to what those trading times were, and they have been reflected in the license. So it was just to kind of clear that point up. Thank you for that, Elaine.
And the times are
8 till 3.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? No,
Can't see any.
Thank you. I will move on. So you've all been sent the notes to accept the notes from the committee strategy group meeting. So we have the neighbourhood plan. I don't know, Elizabeth, if you wanted to propose the neighbourhood plan ones, because I think it's important that they get proposed in a second, because obviously they're part of our work that we're doing in order to get the neighbourhood plan signed off. But I can't see where Elizabeth is.
She's dropped out, I think.
Disappeared. Okay, so if Elizabeth isn't here, can I get another member of the neighbourhood plan? Jackie. Unmute yourself.
Yes, yeah, that's fine. What I will simply do is actually propose the minutes the notes that have been circulated as an accurate record of the neighbourhood plan committee meeting. I would like council to adopt them, please.
Thank you, Jackie. Can I get a seconder for those? Anybody there? There was a second at that meeting. Yeah, Jenny, was that a seconder? You're on mute. I can't hear you. You wasn't at the meeting. So was somebody else who was at the neighbourhood plan?
We haven't got any other councillors on there that were present.
Okay,
No.
so we might have to defer that one then until Elizabeth
comes back in.
Yeah, and if she does, okay. I'll move on to Town Hall, the Market Strategy Group and the Action Downham Group. Technically, we don't need a proposer and seconder because they are just strategy groups. So I am happy to propose they or put them forward or ask for your agreement in those. If I could just kind of have a show of hands if people are generally happy with those 3 sets of notes. Okay, Ben, yeah. So that's everybody bar Councillor. Oh, yeah. Councillor Lawson, is your hand up? If so, it's off screen. Yeah, thank you. So that's fine apart from Nick, I think. Perfect. Thank you for those. And we'll come back to neighbourhood plan if Elizabeth comes back. I'm just checking the waiting room. She's not there. Okay. Moving on to finance. Agenda item 10.1 to agree the payment of bills as attached. They were sent round and there was an addendum sent round a bit later on. I'll just get them up on my other computer screen. So there we go, that one and that one. So Councillor Lawson, have you got a question?
Yeah, can we ask that the orientation, I don't know if everybody else is getting the orientation wrong on their display of the bills for payment.
Yeah, you just have to hit the little square at the top with the arrow and it orientates it for you.
No, okay.
So
And
the
second question,
yeah.
A couple of points in there. There was one there for training on Norfolk Out, Debbie McKee. Is that a very old bill that's outstanding? And the third point was there's an item for payment for Old Clark something or other. And I was wondering, Old Clark's electricity, and it's just a clarification of what that means.
So the Old Clark's electricity, I presume, would be the electricity to the number 6.
Yeah, number 6. Yeah, and the Debbie McKee one is yes old. They were obviously sorting out their bills from NELC and realised we hadn't paid for it. Okay, so I'm quite happy to propose the payments of those bills. Can I get a seconder if there's no further questions? Councillor Pyatt, is that a seconder? Yeah. Okay, all those in favour, if you could put your hands up so I can see. That's fine. Yep, and yeah, Frank's had to abstain because he had a. That's brilliant. Okay. To accept the notes of the Finance Committee, 15th to the 12th, 20 and 23rd of the 2nd, 21. Can I get a proposer from somebody from Finance, because Councillor Pickering isn't here this evening and I wasn't at that meeting yet, so I can get a proposer from Joe. Can I get a seconder from somebody from Finance, please, for those? Councillor Pyatt, good. Oh, yep, I had Charlie and then I had Rachel. All those in favour of those notes? Yep, I think that's everybody apart from Councillor Lawson. Yep, have you got that, Elaine? Yeah, I think so. I've got it on the recording. Yeah, I'm just trying to sort out people's internets coming in and out. So I'm trying to. Yeah. So Will, I've just texted you if you could do me a favour.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item 10.3 to agree Finance Committee resolution to accept the financial regulations. These were discussed and agreed at Finance last month. They are the NALC model financial regulations that we have already adopted once in January 2020. There has been no significant changes to them other than a few typos that were corrected. So these, as I said, are the model financial regulations, the same as many other councils have adopted. So I'm just kind of putting it out there to ask if there's any questions or discussion on that. Finance did approve them.
Good question. I have a question on one there.
Yeah.
Where you're upping the clerk's permission to spend 2,500 from £500.
Is that in the financial regulations or in the?
Hang on.
Because we've got the.
I don't think that's the financial regulation.
Directive, sorry.
Yeah. So I didn't. Yeah. So that's in the bit, the scheme of delegation that we're coming on to later on.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's okay, Frank.
So the financial regulations were the same as were approved in January 20.
Back the same as January 2020.
Yeah.
There is something I'd like to have in those regulations. We don't seem to have anywhere in them where it says that a clerk of works would be employed to look after the high finance work, and we don't use quantity surveyors to prove that the work's been done.
Okay, well, because these are model ones, we've adopted the model ones, but what we can do is kind of have a look at that and see if it would be appropriate for those things to be put in.
I ask that be done, please.
Okay, so we'll have a look to see if those things would be appropriate to be put in. But as they currently stand, are people happy to adopt them again as they currently stand? And then any additional things we'll bring back. Okay, so if I propose them, Frank, are you?
I'll second it.
Okay, second. All those in favour? Okay. Yep, I think that's everybody who's present. Thank you very much for that. Okay, to receive and agree the terms of reference for the following committees and strategy groups. We had the neighbourhood plan, but I don't think you managed to get around to doing the neighbourhood plan. So we will, Jackie, do you want to say something?
No, the last 2 meetings of the neighbourhood plan were taken up looking at a consultative document, so the terms of reference weren't finalised, and I'd like them brought back to the next council meeting, please.
Yep, we'll leave that one on the agenda then. Okay, so we've got Town Hall, Market Strategy and the Finance Committee, and it's my understanding that all of those have been agreed in the respective committees, hence why we deferred to this month's meeting. So did you want to vote on them kind of individually, or are you happy to vote on them as a joint lot? Okay, so we'll do it as
I'm sorry. I understand the Finances Committee, but Market Strategy is a strategy group.
Yeah, they still have to have terms of reference in accordance with the standing orders, Frank. Okay. So our standing orders say that all strategy groups, working parties, committees should have terms of reference. I think it's something that perhaps hasn't been done as robustly as it perhaps should have done previously. So we're trying to kind of address that, and it's good for them to have terms of reference. So that's why we've put them in place.
I don't know whether you can add them all together like that.
So what we'll do is we'll take them one by one. So can I get somebody from the Town Hall to propose the Town Hall ones, please? Okay, Jackie, seconder. Jenny, are you seconding it? Okay, all those in favour of Town Hall? Perfect. Okay, Elizabeth is back, but I couldn't see her hand. Yep, hands up. Brilliant. Thanks, Elizabeth. Okay. Market Strategy. Joe, are you going to propose those ones? Yeah.
I'm going to abstain for that one, if I may.
Okay, yeah, that's fine, Frank. Jenny, you're second in the Market Strategy one. Yeah. All those in favour of the Market Strategy ones? Okay. Elizabeth, is that a hand up? No. Yeah, that's a hand up. Good. It's just a bit delayed, so we're waiting for you to come in. Yeah, fine. And lastly, the Finance Committee ones. I'm happy to propose those. Can I get a seconder? Frank, are you seconding those?
I cannot second it.
Oh, you can't. You just got your hands up. Okay.
I can't second it. I'm not.
Okay. I did think you could. I just went away. Okay, Charlie, are you seconding those ones? Okay, brilliant. All those in favour?
I'll abstain again.
Okay, you're abstaining. Okay, fine. I think that's everybody. Okay. Thank you for those. That's all of that. Agenda item number 12, to review the scheme of delegation. So you saw the scheme of delegation. Council did approve this earlier on in April 2020.
Ah, okay.
So it had already been approved by council then prior to us going into the first lockdown, but following kind of advice and the fact that it's been a year since we reviewed it last time, in line with kind of COVID guidance, we may well no longer be able to do kind of Zoom meetings going forward. and there may be restrictions on us having face-to-face meetings. So we wanted to make sure again that there is a scheme of delegation in place, or if we have to go back into a national lockdown again, that we have things in place, because the current legislation ends in the beginning of May. So there has been no changes to the scheme of delegation. It is currently as was the one that we all agreed to in April 2020. So it's just back here for comment and review, and to get agreement on it again. So I haven't got any questions. I've got Charlie, then I've got Jackie. Was that your hand up? Yep, so Councillor Pye, and then I've got Councillor Westrop.
I wasn't aware that we actually done this in the past. So if I can go to number 6, page 3, if everybody's got it in front of you.
Yeah.
There's a concern with the bottom bit, engaging temporary staff as required. I would hope that we have put in there that the HR or somebody oversees the decision to make that. I didn't realise we'd actually discussed it and agreed it with, and that's the first time I'd seen it was when I read it this time. So I must have missed that meeting or something.
It was done via remotely because we were in lockdown at that point. I can just check for you. You wouldn't normally, because it's under the clerk's role and the clerk's remit under her job description. That's why it's not in the current scheme of delegation, because that job is part of the clerk's day-to-day role. So you wouldn't expect it to be duplicated again on a scheme of delegation, because that's just under her job description. So that's why it's not currently.
I wasn't thinking the present clerk or any other clerk. It's just a thing of a clerk having the decision to make a temporary without any financial interest or anything at all in employing somebody. Well, I think it might be an expensive employee, but obviously any clerk would say, no, I didn't employ you for that money. But I'd like to see something in there with the HR system.
Yeah, so that's why it says temporary staff. So they wouldn't be able to employ a permanent member of staff. It would just be if somebody was sick and we needed to get somebody in. So, you know, if, I don't know, one of the office staff was sick. So it would just be, it is only temporary, and it would be in line with the financial risk assessment. And obviously that would go to a meeting as soon as possible. That's why it's not in there in more detail than that, Charlie.
And the other one was the approve the emergency expenditure 2,500. I would thought that would be supported by the financial group as well, without just going spending, because 2,500 to me is quite a large sum. And I would have thought, I know clerks are not stupid, they would not spend the money if they were concerned about the figure, but just recently I've never had a definition of an emergency and things like that. So if you could define what an emergency means and the reason for the 2,500 being covered, I'd be happy with that.
Okay, so the reason it's 2,500 is because it covers everything. And this is if we can't meet, Charlie. So this would be if we could meet, it would obviously go to the relevant committee. This is in the unlikely, hopefully, event that we were not allowed to meet, because currently the Zoom legislation finishes on, I think, the 7th of May. So we can no longer hold Zoom meetings. And currently we're in a position that we don't have a building that we've identified at this moment in time with the current COVID restrictions in place for us to hold a face-to-face meeting. So we're in that kind of interim. So the reason that we wanted to put something in place was in the event that we're not allowed to hold Zoom because the legislation hasn't changed yet and we can't hold face-to-face, but this is only if that circumstance should happen, because ideally we will be having one or the other. So these are just for extreme.
Having been on this council for a few weeks in my lifetime, I've noticed that things become the norm and things are done without any backup. So I just thinking that we ought to back the clerk by having some way that they can communicate with the finance committee. It's a phone call or a message to just.
I think that's right, but it's also these COVID scheme of delegations were also originally put in because you could have the whole committee ill That was one of the reasons they put in. So you just can't actually get to people. So they are a temporary scheme of delegation. They're not ongoing. It is for COVID times, because you just, you know, nobody knew at that point who would be functioning.
But through the years, I've noticed it ends up the norm, and you can't change it because it said we do this.
Yeah, no, this is just a scheme of delegation for COVID.
Like Becky was just saying just now.
Can I make a suggestion that we
Yeah,
do?
hold on, Frank. I've got Jackie. I've got Councillor Westop first, and then I will come to you second. Frank, Councillor Westop.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. I mean, by and large, it's actually we're in a slightly sticky sort of position, aren't we? And I mean, the advice that's actually been given is quite clear that we need to actually continue a very robust scheme of delegation to actually ensure that everything that we do is actually sort of appropriate. And I think, given the sort of amount of pressure that the clerk has come under in various different ways, really, at the end of the day, I think we need to give the message out loudly and clearly that the clerk is actually operating to what the council requires. And this is actually the sort of scheme of delegation as it's laid out. And as you said, Councillor Hayes, something that we agreed some time ago. It might be worth thinking, picking up one of the points that Councillor Pyatt was making, it might be worth actually sort of putting in a timeline for this and actually saying that we would review this, say, in 3 or 6 months, because we are looking at a highly fluid situation. I mean, we didn't know a year ago that we would still be meeting by Zoom a year later. And we have to face the fact that there are still sort of requirements related to the pandemic in place. They may go in June, they may not. We just don't know. But I mean, I would support the sort of scheme of delegation being extended, but actually only being extended for a relatively short period of time, basically, and actually sort of say to the clerk that she's doing an extremely good job under difficult circumstances. And this is one way that we've got of actually showing our support for her. The only other thing that actually sort of occurred to me is actually, now that we've outsourced HR, other than sort of the very temporary sort of recruitment, to get in sort of office cover for 2 to 3 weeks, I was under the assumption that actually that recruitment process is actually now run by our outsourced individuals and not actually by us, and that this is purely actually to cover, a sort of temporary situation, basically. If actually a member of staff actually goes sick and we need somebody as a matter of urgency.
Yeah, thanks, Jackie. I'll pick up your points there. Frank, Councillor Damon, you had some points.
Jackie referred to an outsourced HR. Have they taken over all HR?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, it was agreed at full council last month or the month before.
I was going to take 2,500 just for a year, but obviously someone's coming with a lower figure, lower period. So I think it should be decided on.
I think recruitment of staff still comes under me, doesn't it? But we do it with their.
So how it works under the as agreed, that recruitment of staff would fall under the remit of the clerk. But it would be, the process would be assisted by the HR company, and that's how it would work. But kind of picking up on Councillor Westrop's points, I think, and Councillor Pyatt's group, I think the idea of having these valid for a period of, say, 6 months, at which point we need to review them again, I think is a good idea, because they are there to protect the clerk and to protect us should we not be able to have meetings one way or another. And I'm truly hoping that we can have meetings one way or another, but I think we just need to make sure that we have got something in place should that happen. Councillor Groom, I've got you next. You need to unmute yourself, Jenny. No, still can't hear you. Do you want me to ask you to unmute?
You've got Elizabeth after that as well, Becky.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep, there you go.
I mean, I agree. It'd be a really good idea to actually review them again in say 6 months' time. But I think also a reassurance, though, Councillor Pryor, when you read through, I mean, there's a lot of detail in these in this regulation, but there are. It clearly does say that, you know, the clerk will try to talk to people like the mayor and the deputy mayor and various other councillors. So it's not like she's going, unless something really dreadful happens and we all go down with something, you know, the sort of new variant. I mean, it's not going to be her in isolation, but she will obviously have the support and assistance of a variety of councillors that she can contact by phone if necessary. You know, if we're still not able to meet.
Yeah,
that's all I have to say. You know, so there's sort of there's support in there. But
yep, thanks, Jenny. I've got Councillor Hendry.
Thank you. I just wonder, could we, I know it's not necessary, but could we emphasise that when Elaine is acting as the market superintendent or whatever it is, that is part of her role as the responsible officer or the legal officer or something, but that it's been questioned so many times, really fairly publicly, that I would like it at least to be in our minutes that we have complete confidence in her ability to run the market and that is part of her job.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that, Elizabeth. Yeah, we can certainly do that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so can't see any of the questions. So given the caveat, so if we write into that these will be valid for a period of 6 months and that they will be reviewed 6 months from today, and hopefully at that point we won't need to have them in place anymore. Are you happy if I propose that scheme of delegation as it currently stands? Jenny, you said
secondly, yeah.
Okay, thank you. All those in favour? Okay, we're just waiting for Ben to switch his camera on. Yeah, brilliant, perfect. Thank you very much.
John, have you got your hand up? Because you've got a hand up in your face. No, you've got a icon. No, I don't think he knows. So it's all right. Don't worry. He's got a hand up.
Oh, I can't see that on mine.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Got two hands up.
Okay, so agenda item 13 to appoint a member for the HR committee. We've got a vacancy on the HR committee, so we put a call out last week for people to send in their nominations if they would like to kind of stand. We have had Councillor Woodman, who has put herself forward to stand, and she has sent her statement around to you. You should have all seen that. If nobody has seen it, do you want Councillor Woodman to read it out? It was emailed out, Frank, yesterday, I believe. So
Monday, yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. Joe, did you just want to read it out for those people who haven't perhaps heard it or seen it? I'm not touching.
Yeah. I'll need to find it, and bear in mind my internet is unstable.
I've got it here if you'd like me to read it out for you.
Yeah, go for it. It'll take me a second.
Bear with me. I've just got to find it in my, she says.
Oh, it's no easier for you either.
No, I've got it here in amongst all of my papers somewhere. Here we go. It was on top of my agenda, underneath my agenda. Okay, so I'm writing in response to the vacancy on the Town Council's HR committee in the hope that you will support me. During my career, I've developed and led teams of over 20 employees and associated workers. I've been responsible for all staff-related matters, including redesigning staffing structures, setting salary scales, devising job descriptions and contracts of employment, as well as training and providing ongoing support for my team. I believe that the skills and experience I've gained will benefit the committee. But as I am aware that HR legislation is an ever-changing field, I will always be willing to learn in order to become a valuable member of the Town Council's HR committee. Councillor Woodman. So, as is usual with vacancies on the HR committee, we will have a vote, but this will be a private vote. So councillors have a couple of ways that they can do that. If they have Elaine's mobile number, they can text Elaine whether they are happy to yes or no for Joe's application to the HR committee. We have enabled the chat function this evening. So if people are familiar with the chat function on Zoom, you go down to the bottom and you click on the button that says Elaine, because we don't want everybody to see what you've put. So you click on the thing that says Elaine only, and then you put for if you're for Joe, or abstain, or not, whatever you want to do. For those of you who don't have either of those, so if you wish Elaine to phone you, if the councillors put their hands up, Elaine will phone you and take your vote over the phone. So Councillor Sharman, yeah, we'll phone you. And then Councillor Doyle, do you, Frank, do you want to be phoned?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Frank. And then Councillor Doyle, did you want to be phoned? Yeah, I think that's a yes. Anybody else who wants to be phoned? If not, either text or use the chat function at the bottom.
It's me.
We've got you. You're on. I'll mute you. So this will take a bit of doing. Jenny, I'll just mute you a second. So everybody's muted currently, so Elaine's conversations can't be heard.
Tell us a joke, Becky.
I don't know, I'm not very good at jokes, unfortunately. But I will have a look and see if there's anything else on the agenda that I can be looking at. Ready for...
I can't do either, Becky, because Julie's on the phone and this don't work.
Okay.
So
I will we will come to you in a second, Charlie, don't panic. We'll be able to do something. If you've sent Elaine your message in, can you just kind of let me know all of the people that have managed to do it so far? Yeah. Joe, is that a yes? Yeah, brilliant. I'm just not sure about Nick and Ben. Yeah, you have, Elizabeth. That's great. Thank you.
I've done it.
Okay, thanks. And then we'll sort you out, Charlie, somehow in a minute.
you've got a full-time job on.
Yeah.
Even Jackie's tried, she can't get there.
Jenny, did you email me? I can't see it. Maybe me. I'll give you a ring. Yeah, I'll go on mute again.
Okay, yeah. It's all right. No.
I haven't heard Rachel's.
But Jackie doesn't think Charlie's a lost cause, so stand by, Charlie.
I've sent you a chat, Elaine. Has it arrived?
She's probably not listening. I'll make sure it's come through. Don't worry. I'll get her to check the chats in a minute. Charlie, have you got your mobile phone there? Or is that Julie's mobile phone?
Using the mobile phone.
Okay.
I think. I'm sitting there. I'll go and find out.
Okay. All right, then
I'll be back.
We'll wait for
Is
you.
there any way that I can get into my chat because it's not coming through to me?
I've sent an email now, Elaine.
Okay, thank you. I was going to phone you, but yeah, got it. Jenny, got Jenny. Rachel, do you fancy texting me? Where's that difficult? Where's Rachel gone?
Are you not getting your chat?
Not getting any chat at all. Perhaps I've disabled it. So Willow, John, Nick.
Yeah, he said he'd done.
It's in the chat though, isn't it?
So all of the people that did the
Can you
chat.
text me, Nick? No.
If
Could you?
Do you want to? How come you can't? We see technical issues. We actually tested the chat earlier to make sure it works.
It works for everyone else, but nobody seems to be able to get to me, or it doesn't come up on my screen.
Is it not down in the?
No, there's nothing in the bottom. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I'm not moving it down. Okay, Jenny, I've got Rachel. I presume that's Rachel. Nick, yeah. Nick.
Yeah, you have to scroll it down.
Sorry about that. So everything's pinging. Right, so can I just read out who I've got, and if anyone hasn't put their hand up. So I've got Winnow, Ben, okay. Yeah. Winnow, Ben, Elizabeth, Joe, Jackie, Jenny, Becky, Nick, Rachel, Frank, John, and Dave.
Yeah. Did you say Elizabeth?
No, I didn't say Elizabeth, but this might be. Oh no, that's not Elizabeth. 0845. She's disappeared, hasn't she?
Charlie was just checking who was on.
You said you had me second. I sent you a text.
Okay, right. We'll check that, Elizabeth. It'll probably be there.
Yeah, so I got Elizabeth ERH. Yes,
yep.
Elizabeth. So I haven't got Councillor Lawson.
And Charlie. Charlie was just.
Charlie, shall I phone?
You on
phone? I've done it. Text your message.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Charlie.
Oh, are you 512697? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Councillor Lawson, are you voting or abstaining, or could you let?
I shall abstain. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Lawson. Okay, so that is.
I think I'm there.
Everybody, okay.
Yeah. So, so that is Joe is elected, if that's what I say.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Sorry, that was a bit of a palaver. Congratulations.
If anybody wants the results, I can give them to them outside. I think it's probably the best.
Yeah, that's definitely the best.
It's done properly.
Welcome to the HR committee. That's all good, these secret votes. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 14, the neighbourhood plan, to receive an update on the neighbourhood plan. Don't know if that's Elizabeth doing that. She's there.
I think she's gone.
Yeah. Jackie, did you want to take over till Elizabeth comes?
Yeah, just to say that we are now at the point where we're going to talk to our consultant about what the final draft looks like. We hope really to actually bring that sort of back to council in the next 2 months, because we are looking to go to first public consultation in June, if that is actually sort of feasible. It will depend on what the sort of COVID regs are at that time. At the moment, all I will say is that we are on track for first public consultation this year. And yeah, that's what I'm going to sort of say at this moment, but there are sort of bits that are missing that we do need to know about. Flooding, I've already mentioned, is one of the key ones. I think also there are some issues around how we would want to develop the sort of conservation and heritage side of the town, which I think we could sort of bring back as part of the discussion when we bring the draft plan back. But outside of that, we're on track to actually sort of do our first public consultation in the first half of this year. So looking good.
Excellent, thanks.
Could I just add that
Elizabeth, are you back again now? We lost you, so please,
I'm sorry.
Feel free to add anything that you wanted. Glad to have you back.
The only thing I want to add to that, which was a good report, thank you, is that we have a provisional date as the first weekend in July for our consultation, and that would take place on Friday morning and evening and Saturday morning.
And when was that, sorry?
First weekend in July.
First weekend in July. Well,
yeah.
Friday and Saturday, that'll be the 9th.
Yeah. No, that'll be the 2nd and 3rd, I think.
Yeah, 2nd and 3rd of July. Yeah.
I think you got Joe, Becky, Joe, and maybe no, put his hand down, Joe.
Right, Joe. I'm just making a note.
Yeah, just the first weekend in July, we are still going to have the vaccinations at the town hall. What thinking around that has been done? I imagine you're wanting a live face-to-face, but it's going to be extremely difficult to manage anyhow, but
yeah,
what's the thinking?
We have two options. One is to have it in the council offices, and if that's not adequate, we are looking to the Methodist Church.
Are there costs related with that, Elizabeth?
Well, we did ask Claire to find out, but I haven't had anything back from that.
Look at that. Any other questions? I mean, from my point of view, my only concern is that's quite soon after the potential downgrading of the COVID regulations, especially for an indoor venue. Have you got any other plan Bs just in case we can't hold it indoors, or we need to go to an outside venue, or has that been kind of
Plan B is to move it into the middle of August.
Okay.
There would be a plan C, but we haven't yet discussed it.
So from what I'm hearing, it's kind of plan A, COVID restrictions and costs allowing, and then if not, plan B, and if plan B we're still under COVID restrictions, maybe a plan C, and you'll advise us of that going forward.
Well,
yeah, Councillor Westrop.
What I will say is that the Methodist Church Social Centre is actually opening up in May, and is actually sort of very keen to actually sort of ensure through flow of people, so they're very, very structured in terms of actually how they manage people inside. So you can sort of, I think there will be more than adequate safeguards, but we can always, as I say, retreat to sort of middle of August on the town square if things are actually uncomfortable. Let's put it that way round.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other questions for Councillor Hendry or Councillor Westrop? No. So I kind of think you covered both 14.1 and 14.2 under that. So are you happy if I move on to agenda item 15?
Yeah.
Yep, brilliant. Thank you. Okay, to discuss the clock and review the timings of the work. So from my understanding, the date that we've been given for work to start on the clock is the 28th of June. That is obviously COVID regulations permitting. And what the intention is the contractors who will be carrying out that work, they will get in contact with us nearer the time just to confirm that, and if COVID doesn't let us do it, then we'll relook at those dates with them. But that is the date that we have scheduled in at the moment. I think we'll all be really pleased when that work starts and is undertaken, because I know we've been waiting for that for a while, and we've had to postpone it for a number of reasons. Any questions on that? Charlie, have you got anything? Because I know it's your
my baby. The only concern I have is I don't want it rushed. I don't want it a bad job because of the COVID and because of the issues. I would rather them hold fire until another year, because we've still got the vaccinations, we've still got the concern of COVID in June, and because not all the residents will be inoculated by the date of June, but they will be in July, so they tell us. So I have a concern. I don't want, now we've waited 2 years for it to be done, or 10 years. We need to be getting it done properly and right. I know we can observe, but I think I would rather put them off another year than rush this for the sake of doing a bodge job.
Yeah, I think that's why we're going to kind of be liaising with them, and they're going to get back in touch with us a bit closer to the time, and then we can make that decision when we know what the regulations are in place, and obviously they will be making sure that they are complying with all of the current COVID regulations as they stand at that moment in time. But what we'll do is nearer to the 28th of June, hopefully for the June meeting, Elaine may well have another update and have spoken to them again, and we might know a bit more about what's happening. If not, I know the legislation is supposed to change again at the end of June, so we can keep people informed. And you're right, we'd much rather have a better, a proper job, not putting anybody at risk, than pushing something through that could put others at danger. So we will do that. Elaine, you've got
just to reassure Charlie, it was in their programme works. I sort of preempted them saying it, but they had put it in there long term. But we have agreed, okay, but to talk later, that it's in their programmable line. But we will talk because anything could change tomorrow, let alone 2 months. So rest assured, it isn't just that they're saying, oh, we'll do it. It's all been planned like that with a review on it, certainly.
Yeah. So we'll keep you posted. Any other questions about that? Okay, no. Moving on to agenda item 16, items for the next agenda. I know we have a couple that we've moved from previous agendas that we'll put back on. So
so we've got COVID memorial because we and the biosphere, obviously neighbourhood plan terms of reference and the minutes for full council. I think there may be more, but they were the ones that I've got.
And the action down at the events for later on in the year as well.
Yeah.
So we'll put that on. Any other items for the next agenda?
No, I can't see anybody.
I can't see any. Okay. So we're going to do the date of the next meeting now, because we then go into confidentiality. So the date of the next meeting, which will be held via Zoom, according to my diary, is the 4th of May, I believe.
Let's just check that.
First Tuesday.
I got down. 4th of May, yeah.
May the 4th be with you. See, I made a joke then.
Is that the May making?
Yes, it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the date of the next one. Okay, so at this point, we will go into confidentiality due to the nature of the items about to be discussed. They are staffing and financial issues. So at this point, we will exclude members of the public from our discussions. So we thank all of our county councillors and borough councillors for attending this evening, and we will see you in May, and we will stop the YouTube.
Just before we do that, can we have the proposition to go into confidentiality? So it's above board.
Okay, so can I propose that we go into confidentiality to consider the items, because they are down as staffing and finance.
And it's under the Public Bodies Admission to Meetings Act.
I was going to get that bit, yeah.
So I didn't know if you had that on your.
Yeah, no, and the Public Bodies Admission to Meetings Act 1960 exclude members of the public and press at this point. So I'm proposing.
So you've got Willow and Ben and Rachel and Jenny and John.
All those in favour. Okay.